All right, let's get started with this. Number one says a collection of nickels and quarters has a value of $7.30. The number of nickels is 7 less than 4 times the number of quarters. So the first equation says nickels plus quarters is equal to $7.30. But I know, and you know, that if we're talking about a value, if we're talking about a value here, a value of dollars and cents, we know that we need the value of nickels, which is 0.05, and the value of quarters, which is 0.25. So that's what our equation needs to really say. 0.05 nickels plus 0.25 quarters is equal to $7.30. That's our value equation. And then it says the number of nickels, that would be a quantity equation. So this one's going to be a quantity equation. It says the number of nickels is equals 7 less than, means to flip it, 4 times the number of quarters. So I know that I need to rewrite this to say nickels is equal to 4 times the quarters minus 7. All right. So we look at, it says which system can be used to find the number of nickels and quarters. So basically, which system is set up correctly. We go through our options of A and C, and we know that both of those are incorrect. If we look at A, it doesn't have the value of the nickels attached to the nickels, and it doesn't have the value of the quarters attached to the quarters. If we look at C, it has the value of the nickels incorrectly attached to the nickels. It says 0.5 instead of 0.05. So then we need to look at options B and D because the first equation is correct. Now we got to look at the second equation. I think option D is going to be incorrect. I know that there's a 4 attached to my Q, and if you look at the equation for D, it says Q is equal to 7 minus 4N. And I know that if I got rid of that 4, there'd be division symbols, right? So there'd be a line over with a 4 underneath. So I'm going to look at B real quick. It says N plus 7 is equal to 4Q. Let's see if I can make this B N plus 7 equal to 4Q. So I'm going to get that 4Q on one side by itself by adding 7 to both sides, and I'm going to get N plus 7 equals 4Q, which is exactly what B says. So D's wrong, B's right. Moving on. Number 2, what is the value of B that makes the equation true? So our equation is 3B minus parentheses 7 minus 5B. Close those parentheses is equal to 25. We're going to distribute that negative symbol because there's nothing I can do on the inside. And we're going to get 3B minus 7 plus 5 because we keep track of our negatives is equal to 25. We combine our like terms after every step if we can. And our new equation says 8B minus 7 is equal to 25. I got to get B by itself, and I know that I got to get rid of my 7 first. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides. So I'm going to get 8B is equal to, what is that, 32. We're going to divide by 8 on both sides to get B all by itself, and I'm going to get B is equal to 4. So I look at my options, and I see that B is the correct answer again. Number 3, Jared and Taylor are playing basketball. Yay. They lead their team to victory in the championship game and combining to score 40 points. So Jared plus Taylor is equal to 40 points. Jared scored 14 less than twice Taylor's score. So Jared scored or equals 14 less, flip it, than twice Taylor. So I need to rewrite this equation to say J is equal to 2T minus 14 because I had the flip it word in there. Now I see that this one's asking me to solve how many points did Taylor score. So we're looking to equal T, right? All right, so let's do it. I'm going to take this equation. You remember the 3 ways we talked about solving systems? You can graph them, which this is not set up for graphing necessarily. You can substitute or you can eliminate. This one seems to be set up for substitution because I have J equals all of this information, and then I have a J up here in that equation as well. So I'm going to take all of this information and input it in for J because it says J equals all of this. So I'm going to rewrite this equation up here. And it's going to say 2T minus 14 in parentheses because it's substituted for J plus T is equal to 40. Can't do anything inside, so those parentheses disappear. And now I can combine like terms, and I'm going to get 3t minus 14 is equal to 40. Add 14 to both sides. I'm going to get 3t is equal to 54. And then divide by 3 on both sides, and I'm going to get t is equal to, what is that, 18. So my answer is C. Taylor is equal to 18. Number 4. Number 4 says, what is the zero of that equation? What is the zero of that equation? If we think about zeros, we know that that is when x equals a number and y must equal 0, because that's when the graph hits the x-axis, right? So I know that y's value is 0 right there. So if I'm using the equation f or h of x in this scenario is equal to 2/3 x minus 2, then I know that I can make this equal to 0 because I know that's where I want the equation to go. So I get 0 is equal to 2/3 x minus 2, add 2 to both sides. I get 2 is equal to 2/3 x. I'm going to multiply this whole thing by 3/2 because we multiply it by the reciprocal. So I get this right here. 3 times 2 is 6. Divided by 2 is 3. And then 3/2 times 2/3 gives me 1 because 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. And 6 over 6 is 1. So 3 is equal to 1x. So I know that that answer is C. All right, number 5. Number 5 says you're planning a party. Woo! Not today, though. The cost of the party will be $30 to rent the room, so I know that I have a flat fee of $30 plus $5 per person. And my budget, the word budget means I can't go over it, I can go right into it, and I can go below it. So I know that it has to be less than or equal to. That's what budget means, $75. And it's asking which inequality says that. And we look at A and B, and we can call both of those wrong because it's using the wrong symbol. A and B both use, A uses greater than or equal to, B uses greater than or equal to, and both of those are incorrect. Now, C and D both use less than or equal to, but C has the P attached to 5 because it's $5 per person, and D has the P attached to 30, saying $30 per person. That's not what our equation says, so our answer is C. Number 6, moving on. Cody went to the movie theater with a group of friends. He bought Cokes for $2 each, I wish, and movie tickets for $5 each, I wish. Let X represent the number of Cokes and Y represent the number of tickets. If he spent no more than, what does no more than mean? It means he has a budget, right? If he spent no more than $50, but he spent $2 on Cokes and $5 on tickets. Now, it says which graph represents the combination of drinks and tickets he could buy for his friends. This one basically says, do you know how to graph that symbol? And if we think about the video that I put on earlier, we know what this is going to be. We know it has an or equal to symbol, so that means it's going to be a solid line. And we know it's a less than symbol, so we know it's going to be shaded below. So if we look at our two options, A and B are both shaded above. C is shaded below, but it's a dash line, and D is what we need. It's a solid line shaded below, so our answer is D. Number 7. Describe the transformation to a linear parent function. What is the linear parent function? We know that the linear parent function is f of x is equal to x, or y equals x, right? And it says what happened to this function. G of x is equal to x plus 5. I guess we could say or y equals x plus 5. Well, I know that both of these are linear equations, and I know that the only difference that I can see here is this plus 5. We talked about a couple of different things that this plus 5 could mess with. Is it moving left and right, or is it moving up and down? Our question between left and right is up and down is parentheses, if you recall. Any movement where x is attached inside the parentheses is going to be a left and right movement. Outside the parentheses, which I don't see any parentheses in this equation, outside the parentheses is going to be up and down. And of course, that plus sign is going to tell us that we're moving up. So if I look at my options, it says C, the parent function is translated 5 units up. That would be correct. Number 8. Number 8 says Amy works 16 hours. Amy works 16 hours and earns $39.50. Ugh. She also works 24 hours, and earns $59.25. What is her hourly pay round to the nearest hundredth? Okay, let's solve. Divide by 16 on both sides, and I get H is equal, let's see, calculator time. H is equal to $2.4675, but it says round to the nearest hundredth, so we're going to say H is equal to $2.47. Let's do this one as well. And we get H is equal to 2.46875, which also rounds to 2.47 in the hundredth position, so that would be the correct answer. All right, number 9. Number 9 says, which of the following best describes the relation shown in the graph? And the graph is something like this. Let's see here. Boom, boom, and boom. Let's see. And all the options are talking about range. So if we look at a range, our bottommost value is going to be at -3. And our topmost value from bottom to top is going to be at +4. So we know that our range is going to be from 3, and it's inclusive. So less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 4, because once again, it's included, right? It has the or equal to symbol. So we're looking for that. A, the range of the function is all real numbers. No, A is incorrect. That is not all real numbers. B, the range of the function is all real numbers greater than or equal to -2. No, B. No, it is not equal to -2. It's equal to -3. C, the range of function is all real numbers greater than or equal to -3 and less than or equal to -4. That is true. Y is greater than or equal to -3, and y is less than or equal to +4. But let's see if D is any different. It says the range of the function is all real numbers greater than -3 and less than +4. All it did was get rid of the or equal to sign, but that's super valuable. We know that it is or equal to because they're both closed dots. So D's out of the question. C is correct. Number 10. The force X applied to a lever varies directly with the weight Y that is being lifted. It says direct variation, so we know that that is going to be Y equals KX. You remember K is that direct variation constant. There's no plus or minus anything out here because all direct variation problems go through the origin. So if it says it varies directly, then we know it is Y equals KX, and we are trying to figure out what K is. It says that we are allowed to lift a total of 75 pounds, so that means our Y is 75. And then it says K times using 20 pounds of force. So when I put in 20 pounds of force into this lever, it produces 75 pounds of force. So when I push down, by the way, this is a lever, and I push down with 20 pounds of force, it's pushing up with 75 pounds of force. That's what we're trying to solve. So how do I find out what K is? I just get K all by itself. And I get 75 divided by 20. We know that that is 3.75. Or if I'm doing fractions, I know that that is going to reduce to 15/4. So which one says 15/4 for our value of K? Definitely not C and D, but it is B. So the answer for 10 is B. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video and start on another one for 11 through 20.